So like if you look at Wolverine in a vacuum and you want to look at what he does. And the best way I can explain that is he basically is controlled chaos. What I mean by that is you look at cards like you have chain swipes, chain, taunt, full combo weak. You have lethal pounce, chain, full combo strengthen. You look at eviscerate, chain, taunt, pretty good damage, right? So the thing is, in order to make him work on the higher difficulties and in general, you want to only taunt as much as he can take and then ignore everything else. So he's basically like, I'm gonna handle these three mobs over here while you guys handle the rest. Like that's the idea. Or if it's like nest mommy missions, then you use him on totems and then you aggro the guardian with him. Or if it's like soulless missions, he just farms the mission. But let's say the mission is defeat heavy enemies, right? Well, the trouble with that one is he can't really clean up kills with the chain attacks, and his quick attack is pretty bad, even though it does have a high damage coefficient. So on defeat heavy enemy missions, his whole goal changes from chain taunting and managing aggro to debuffs. So I don't have power slash on this deck right now, but power slash uh, is a vulnerability and a knockback. You have chain swipes, which is a weaken, and then you have lethal pounce for strengthened. And then his midnight special legendary card is nice to use after lethal pounce. That can be quite impactful. So if you're running, say, I don't know, a Doctor Strange on your team, and you just have a lot of heroism, you lethal pounce, full combo to get strengthened, and then you midnight special, and you kind of watch the sparks fly, literally. But in general, he really wants to control a few ads at a time. Does that make sense? Now, the deck that I would suggest would be something in the ballpark of 2 chain swipes, 2 lethal pounce, or you could run 1 power slash, 1 chain swipes, and 2 lethal pounce. I would take 2 lethal pounce though if I could get it, and that's because it does very high damage, and more often than not, Wolverine struggles with the single target because eviscerate is his only good heroic, and this can clean up all the little guys, right? So if you think about lethal pounce as your massive burst damage option, and then eviscerate as your sort of spread around AoE taunt option. So chain swipes, lethal pounce, some combination of these, and then a power slash somewhere in there. Again, like I said, I think his quick card is really bad, and because he has so many chains, he doesn't even need the quick anyway. I would run 1 berserk and then 1 stink of fear. I don't have stink of fear yet on this run, or on this build rather. So 1 berserk and 1 stink of fear. And the stink of fear is a taunt counter, and then upgraded it applies weak. And that's more what you're using it for, apply weak. I would suggest using it to keep him alive rather than taunt everybody at once. It's sort of a bait, right? You're like, oh, I'll use this to taunt people, but then really you should just be using it to weaken people, okay? And then, yeah, 2 eviscerates, or 1 or 2 eviscerates. This is entirely your call. Like if you want to run 2 stink of fears, I'd run 1 eviscerate, but yeah. And then midnight special is take it or leave it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Like I said, if I could change this build right now to do what I want, I'd cut berserk, put in stink of fear, and then I'd probably cut a chain swipes and put in a power slash, and then go from there. So again, it's just controlled chaos, management of a few enemies at a time. Don't look at him as a tank, look at him as a DPS with a bit of aggro control. And then I actually don't run his rapid healing card, to be honest. I don't like it, it doesn't do enough. The cure is nice, but it's not worth the card play. And the healing coefficient isn't even big enough to matter, which is a bit odd to say, but it's true. And then, so if you don't use rapid healing, you'll automatically see more success, I'm sure of it.